Welcome to Emergence Magazine's special seasonal series, Summer of Practice. I'm Emmanuel Vaughn Lee, host of this show, recorded on the unceded lands of the Coast Miwok peoples in present-day Marin County. This episode is part of a special series of guided audio practices that, this year, are drawn from my new book, Remembering Earth, A Spiritual Ecology. This week is all about time, with 3 invitations: observing cycles in a landscape, a year-long walk, and kinship time, which are each designed to draw you into non-linear experiences of time and into an experience of time more attuned with the rhythms of Earth. You'll note that the 3rd invitation, kinship time, invites you to begin with the shared breath practice. If you choose to start with this step and want to refamiliarize yourself with this breath practice, it can be found in episode 1 of this series. Time. A lie is a truth removed from its time-place. Tyson Yunkaporta. If you walk the same trail most days of the year, you begin to notice things. The turning of the seasons reveals itself in slow increments of nuanced expression. Mushrooms emerging after the first good rains. Debris from fallen branches after a big winter storm. Acacia blossoms bursting open in the height of spring, and the sounds of crickets in the tall summer grass. Walk that trail for years, and you come to know a place intimately. You witness Earth, blackened and scorched by fire, become a forest, seated by the cones of the bishop pine. Trees at first huddled together so thick you can't walk through them begin to thin out as the competition for sunlight leads to growth for some and eventual death for others. You notice how time expresses itself in relation to place, and a kinship forms. Time unfolds in cycles, day into night within the Earth's 24-hour rotation, the changing seasons within our yearly circumambulation around the sun. Within these cycles, like countless others, the lunar cycle, the rise and fall of the tides, the migration patterns of birds and butterflies, the fleeting expression of a flower blossom, and within it all, the ever-present movement of our shared breath. Everything in creation has its own cycle, its own expression of time, each one existing in relationship with every other, like interlocking circles inside an endless series of nesting dolls. It's a vast, mysterious, and wondrous manifestation of the ways love flows through all things. Yet despite this fundamental truth and its centrality to all that exists, we have linearized time into something so straight it's barely recognizable. It's not just that we have digitized or atomized time, but that we have stripped it of rhythm and place, flattened it, and named that progress. It's almost as if time now hovers, disconnected from the Earth, suspended in a vacuum far removed from its physical and tangible forms. And perhaps most dangerously of all, we have attempted to remove time from its relationship to land. The cycle of a day is experienced differently everywhere on Earth. The expression of the seasons not only differs dramatically between the northern and southern hemispheres and the equator, but can be completely distinct within just 100 miles, with different trees, plants, flowers, birds, and topographies. Here, the list is truly endless, all manifesting a different expression of light and season within their own cycle of time. The sound of a dawn chorus is unique all over the world, not just because each chorus is made up of different species of birds, but also because each location is unique. Each place has its own time, and within that time, many layers exist. That place is a landscape, and a forest within that landscape, and a tree within that forest, and so on. Each form of creation is an expression of place as much as it is an expression of time. The bishop pine that grew out of serotiny, seeded into scorched earth, is not the same as the bishop pine 100 miles away. Encoded in that tree is the memory of fire that was its birth and the land it grows from. It carries that imprint in its yearly layering of wood, marking our circumambulation around the sun. Its unique expression as a being is a reflection of the place that is its home as much as the species it belongs to. When we flatten time and remove it from place, that unique being becomes just a bishop pine, a species, and finally just a tree, uprooted from the ground that moors it, floating in abstraction. And love, too, begins to recede. When we recognize each form of creation as its own cycle of time and as an expression of place, something begins to shift. The lie is laid bare. We again begin to see the truth of the cycles around us, and a space of kinship beckons. And just like when we listen, it is our intention and attention that support this shift, allowing us to recognize each unique being as a cycle of time and its own expression of place. Once we begin to do this, and especially when it is done repeatedly over time, walking the same trail over the course of a year, experiencing the rhythm of the seasons come and go, spending a half hour with a tree, and returning each week or each month, we become more connected to place. Our cycles attune to the cycles around us, free from the veil of separation that abstract, flattened time imposes. We become more rooted, and our ability to be attentive and more in tune with the seasons deepens. These practices, walking with the awareness of cycles rooted in place, walking the same path over a cycle of the seasons, and visiting the same tree regularly, can reveal a deepening understanding of and relationship with time and place. Like the preceding practices, they draw on the simple spiritual technologies of the breath and the heart to cultivate presence and activate love. For love is what lies at the center of time, as it is the axis of all things. The following 3 time practices build on each other, incorporating new elements as they unfold. I suggest moving through them sequentially to start, until you are familiar with them. You can press pause on your phone between each step of the practices to give yourself the necessary time to do them, and then press unpause when you're ready to move on. 1. Observing cycles in a landscape. Approximately 1 hour. Find a trail or a park not too far from your home, ideally one with a variety of trees and plants. Choose a place where you can walk comfortably for about an hour. Begin your walk and adjust your pace to match the rhythm of your breath, settling into a simple, moving meditation. After a few minutes of walking, begin to visualize your out-breath as energy flowing down through your body and into the earth beneath your feet. And on the in-breath, visualize the breath as energy rising up out of the earth and through your body to the top of your head. Be conscious of the cyclical nature of this practice, the cycle of your in and out breath the visualization of that breath flowing in a loop into the earth beneath your feet and up through your body, the cycle of your step moving in relation to the breath. Notice the rhythm within you unfolding as you walk. Continue for a few minutes. As you walk, be attentive to all the more than human beings you encounter: the trees, the bushes, the flowers, the birds, the insects buzzing around you. As you see or hear them, consider how each being exists within its own rhythm, its own cycle of time. After a while, stop in front of a rooted, more than human being, a tree or bush or flower. Consider its cycle of time and how it is connected to the earth it grows from. Reflect on how the earth is a connective tissue between this being and the other rooted beings nearby, how it connects all the rooted expressions of time you see. Continue walking and stopping in front of different rooted beings. Notice how each being you encounter, even if it is the same species you have already encountered, is unique. Notice whether it is taller or shorter, how it sits in relation to the landscape, and how it sits in relation to the sun. Ask yourself how the place in which this being is rooted is reflected in its uniqueness. Bring your awareness to the fact that you are not a physically rooted being. Your feet do not grow roots that moor you to the earth and the landscape. Then consider how your awareness of the more than human beings rooted in place can act like a root. How the awareness of their unique cycles of time and their unique relation to place allows you to acknowledge them more deeply, and how this acknowledgement is a connection, the beginnings of kinship that can help you become rooted to them and through them to place. Continue walking, observing cycles, growing roots. Two, a year-long walk, approximately 1 hour each time you do it. Find a trail or a park not too far from your home, ideally one with a variety of trees and plants that you can return to regularly over the period of a year. Choose a place you can walk comfortably for about an hour. Begin your walk and adjust your pace to match the rhythm of your breath, settling into a simple, moving meditation. After a few minutes of walking, begin to visualize your out-breath as energy flowing down through your body and into the earth beneath your feet. And on the in-breath, visualize the breath as energy rising up out of the earth and through your body to the top of your head. Be conscious of the cyclical nature of this practice, the cycle of your in and out breath, the visualization of that breath flowing in a cycle into the earth beneath your feet and up through your body, the cycle of your step moving in relation to the breath. Notice the rhythm, the cycles within you unfolding as you walk. Do this practice each time you take this walk. As you walk, be attentive to all the more than human beings you encounter: the trees, the bushes, the flowers, the birds, the insects buzzing around you. As you see or hear them, consider how each being exists within its own rhythm, within its own cycle of time. Consider how they embody the season. Are the budding trees, the presence of blossoms, and the vibrancy of color expressing an aspect of spring? Whatever the season is when you begin your year-long walk, take note, for it marks the beginning of a full cycle of engagement. Continue your walk in this state of awareness. Next time you take this walk, take note of what has changed and what has remained the same. How is the season expressing itself this time as you walk? Ask yourself this question each time you walk. By the third or fourth walk, certain rooted beings may begin to stand out to you, to call to you. Stop in front of them and acknowledge them. Notice how this being sits in relation to the landscape, how it expresses the season at this particular moment. Ask yourself how the place in which this being is rooted is reflected in its uniqueness. Return to these beings and engage with them regularly on your walks. As the weeks go by and turn into months, reflect on how your relationship with the more than human beings you encounter has shifted. Do you feel an intimacy with them, especially with the rooted beings you have stopped beside regularly? As you witness the seasons turn, ask yourself, how does this place tell time? What makes it unique? As more weeks go by, reflect on the connection you feel with your rooted friends, with this place. Do you feel a kinship, a sense of love even? After a year passes, consider continuing to walk, to keep noticing, to keep expanding your cycle of time. Three, kinship time, approximately 30 minutes. Before beginning this practice, refamiliarize yourself with the shared breath practice, as steps within that practice are also used here. Find a large rooted being near where you live that intrigues you or calls to you and that you would like to spend time with on a regular basis. It can live along the path of your year-long walk practice or somewhere else. It doesn't matter, as long as it's easy for you to get to from your home. As you walk to visit this being, adjust your pace to match the rhythm of your breath, settling into a simple, moving meditation. After a few minutes of walking, begin to visualize your out-breath as energy flowing down through your body and into the earth beneath your feet. And on the in-breath, visualize the breath as energy rising up out of the earth and through your body to the top of your head. When you arrive, stand before the rooted being and take it in. Spend a few minutes noticing its height, width, branches, leaves, colors, the texture of its bark. See how it's rooted in place. Are the roots spread out, visible, buckling just below the surface, or are they mostly hidden? Notice how this being sits in relation to the landscape, how it expresses the season at this particular moment. Ask yourself how the place in which this being is rooted is reflected in its uniqueness. How old do you think it is? Acknowledge it with a simple hello, or another greeting that feels right to you. This can be audible or silent. Find somewhere to sit in front of this being where you will be comfortable for the next half hour. As you sit before it, visualize your outbreath as an offering of energy from your essence into the rooted being. Focus on this for a few minutes. Now hold the awareness that what you are breathing out is carbon dioxide. Visualize it dispersing into the air and being absorbed by the rooted being in front of you. On your in-breath, hold in your awareness that you are breathing in oxygen offered by this same rooted being. Focus on this cycle for a few minutes. Reflect on how your cycle of breath is functioning in relation to its breath, how you breathe at a different pace, averaging 15 breaths a minute, while this rooted being is in a continuous cycle of respiration that expresses itself differently than yours, and how though you don't breathe like a rooted being, and it doesn't breathe like you, there is a shared breath, a meeting of cycles. Now let go of your focus on the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen. Instead, visualize your outbreath as energy entering the being in front of you and being absorbed by it. As you breathe in, visualize the breath offered by this being entering your body as a life force, a gift that nourishes you. Focus on this cycle for a few minutes. In this space of exchange, consider how the coming together of your cycle and its cycle allows you to step into a greater cycle of time, one that is larger than yours or its. It isn't about how old you are, or how old it is, or how many breaths each of you takes. Rather, it is a shared experience of time manifesting in a space of mutual exchange, all unfolding in the specific place this rooted being exists within. It is both rooted and rootless, timeless and time-bound. Before you leave, offer your gratitude to this being. It can be as simple as thank you, offered audibly or silently. When you next visit, repeat this practice, but start by noticing what's changed. Is there new growth? Does the change in the way the light hits this being shift the way you see it in relation to the place it's rooted in? How are the seasons' movements being reflected by this being? Visit as frequently as you can and watch what happens, both with your outer senses and your inner ones. Does love begin to grow? Does kinship blossom? Ask yourself, is that experience also a cycle of time? Is it rooted in this place? If this practice from remembering Earth resonated with you, check out the rest of the book, which explores how remembrance, praise, and intimacy with the living world can bring us beyond ideas and into an embodied experience of love for the Earth. Remembering Earth is now available in print from the Emergence and Shambhala Publications websites, at all good bookstores, and also as an audiobook on Audible. Emergence Magazine is an initiative of Calliopeia Foundation. Our original essays, in-depth interviews, films, and rich multimedia explore the threads connecting ecology, culture, and spirituality. Our theme music is composed by Logan Stalley and H. Scott Salinas. This podcast is edited by Erica Neininger and produced by Shauna Quinn and Emmanuel Vaughn Lee, with writing by Lucy Warmold. You can subscribe to our podcast wherever podcasts are found. To subscribe to our newsletter, order our new print edition, and check out more of our stories, visit emergencemagazine.org.